Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another captivating episode of Howard's Opinion. I'm your host, Howard, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we dive into the world of sports. We've got a plethora of intriguing stories to discuss, but first, let's kick off with some exciting news from the Denver Broncos. It seems like the Broncos are making waves in the NFL and not just on the field. Recently, NFL insider Jay Glazer paid a visit to their facilities and was thoroughly impressed by their state-of-the-art weight room. In fact, he went as far as to say it's the best weight room in the entire league. Now that's what I call investing in your team's success. With Sean Payton at the helm, it's clear that the Broncos are committed to building on their 10-7 season and making a deeper playoff run. But that's not all, folks. We've also got some interesting news about expectations around the Broncos. According to NFL writer Peter Schrager, the team is not afraid to talk Super Bowl. Yes, you heard that right. Super Bowl. It's refreshing to see a team with such confidence and ambition. And it's not just the players who are feeling optimistic. The ownership group is also eager to bring a championship to Denver. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Howard, what about last season? Well, let me tell you, the Broncos proved a lot of people wrong by making the playoffs with a 10-7 record. In fact, they even inspired one NFL writer, Jarrett Bailey, to get a tattoo after losing a bet. That's right, Bailey got GMFB tattooed on his body after the Broncos made the postseason, despite his initial doubts. As we continue to follow the Broncos' journey, it's clear that they're a team on the rise. With their impressive weight room, confident mindset, and talented roster, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with in the NFL. And who knows? Maybe this will be the year they bring home that elusive Super Bowl title. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Howard's Opinion. I'm your host, Howard, and we're diving headfirst into the world of sports, where the drama is always palpable and the stakes are high. Today, we're focusing on Michigan State, a powerhouse in college athletics with a dedicated fan base that's always eager for news about their beloved teams. Speaking of which, let's get straight to it. The Michigan State basketball team has been making headlines lately, particularly with their recent projections for the upcoming season. But what caught my eye was the story about their basketball commit, Brady Peddle, joining the Charlottetown Islanders for the 2025-26 season. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, why should we care about a hockey player's decision to join a team in the QNHL? Well, my friends, let me tell you, this is a big deal. Peddle is one of the top prep players in his age group, and his commitment to Michigan State is a huge get for the program. But that's not all, folks. We also have some exciting news about the Michigan State football team. With training camp underway, the competition for starting spots is heating up. The Spartans have a plethora of talented running backs vying for positions in the backfield, including Mekhi Frazier, Brandon Tullis, and newcomers Luka Vinchik and Caleb Carter. And let's not forget about the offensive line, where Connor Moore, the highly touted transfer from Montana State, is looking to make an impact. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, what about the pass rush? Well, my friends, I've got you covered. The Spartans are looking to improve their lackluster pass rush from last season, and they're counting on a host of new transfers to get the job done. David Santiago, Isaac Smith, Anelu Lafaele, and Cam Williams are all vying for the starting rush end spot, and it's going to be a battle royale. And finally, we have some news about the Michigan State hockey team. As I mentioned earlier, Brady Peddle is joining the Charlottetown Islanders for the 2025-26 season. But what does this mean for the Spartans? Well, my friends, it means that they're getting a talented young player who's going to make an immediate impact when he joins the team in 26-27. In conclusion, folks, Michigan State is looking to make some noise in the world of college athletics, and we're excited to see how their teams perform this season. From basketball to football to hockey, The Spartans are loaded with talent and ready to take on all comers. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Howard's Opinion. Speaking in his signature style as the closing segment of his podcast, Howard's Opinion, Howard would present the story as follows. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're winding down on today's show, but before we go, I want to dive into a couple of intriguing stories that caught my attention. You know, the world of sports is never short on drama, and today is no exception. First off, let's talk about Cam Newton and his recent comments on Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm not one to shy away from controversy, but it seems like Cam might have stirred up a hornet's nest with his harsh critique of the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. But as we all know, opinions are like noses. Everybody's got one. And boy, did Chase Sr., an analyst over at Chat Sports, come to Hurts' defense in a big way. I mean, this guy nailed it, folks. He perfectly articulated why Jalen Hurts deserves more respect, and I've got to say I'm inclined to agree. And then we've got Luke Kuechly, the Carolina Panthers legend, chiming in on Cam Newton's potential return to the team. Now, this is a story that's been brewing for a while, and it seems like Kuechly thinks it's only a matter of time before Newton reunites with the Panthers. But, as we all know, the relationship between Newton and the organization has been complicated, to say the least. Now, I'm not here to take sides or speculate on what might happen next. But what I will say is that these stories are a perfect reminder of why sports are so captivating. The drama, the intrigue, the passion. It's all part of what makes this world so fascinating. And as we wrap up today's show, I want to leave you with a thought. In the world of sports, nothing is ever certain, and everyone's got an opinion. But at the end of the day, it's all just a game, folks. A game that brings us together, that inspires us, and that reminds us of the power of human competition. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, these are some of my humble thoughts.